So the latest development in the cities world is Cities Skylines, and it's a little bit of a surprise, and a little bit of a change of tacts from you guys. More direct control over your city building, if you will, instead of laying out the mass transportation and the transport things. This is actually a city builder.
Yeah, this is definitely a bigger task for us as well as a company, but we have always dreamt of making a city builder game. We loved working on Cities in Motion 1 and 2, but it was completely focused on the mass transit, and this time it's gonna be like basically taking control of the entire city. So, but we're really excited, and I think people will be too when they get to play this.
You mentioned when you did your presentation that sort of you had this idea, and then all of a sudden EA came along and they announced the new SimCities, and SimCity, something that they hadn't done for a decade or something. We haven't seen a new SimCity, but what do you feel like? You know, obviously that sort of disrupted a little bit, but where do you feel that you're doing something that's different than that? Because people don't want, I mean, we don't want another SimCity, we want something different, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it was surprise when they announced it, but basically we have been wanting to do this for so long, and we have a clear idea in our head what this game is. This is the kind of free-form city builder where people get to really join in to the development through the user-created content, which I think plays a huge part, at least in our previous games. So we're really putting emphasis on the modding tools. People get to create their own assets. They get to actually make really cool advanced mods with our new API for that. And this game, it's like bigger, more control to the player all across the board.
Because that's really one thing that struck me. That's the scale of things. This is really like a proper city-sized thing where you know, it's not just a little neighborhood that you're building out. You're building out a huge city and potentially a very big one.
Yeah, exactly. And there's the kind of option for you, because you start with the 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers map tile, and you can basically expand the city all the way to 9 map tiles, and it is something that you get to choose. That will you have actually like smaller cities in that area, or will you actually start building one absolutely huge one with up to 1 million people living in it?
So you mentioned how user created content, and that sort of seems like one takeaway that from the earlier games. Do you have any other takeaways from Cities in Motion and Cities in Motion 2 that has shaped the way that this game is developed?
Well, basically with Cities in Motion 2 we started to experiment on basically a huge map size, and we noticed that it is completely possible, and we really brought that to this game as well, to Cities Skylines, because I think it's very important for the players to be able to kind of create the city of their dreams as well, and that might take a little bit more space than just the first map tile. So it is so that also that was like a major takeaway from Cities Motion 2. Of course, the transport is very close to our hearts, so we still have a public transportation option in the game, and we have also added airplanes, and there will be ships with harbors, and it is so, or harbor with ships, and it is something that we feel that we know how to do, and now it's going to be like a simplified version of those earlier games also present in this one.
Also, one thing that I struck of is just economy, because there seems to be a really deep economy system in there, and with taxes and all of that, and a lot of micromanaging that's possible, but you can also sort of, and you have policies in there as well, which is also helping you shape different neighborhoods. Can you develop a little bit what that's about?
So basically, the basic features are the ones that everybody will be using, and those are simple to use, easy to grasp, so that you can just, if you want, you can just concentrate on building the city, making it expand. But if you're the type of player that really wants to take control of absolutely everything, you can create districts, set up policies for those. For example, control the industry. You want them to favor forestry. If your map has a lot of forest and wood available, you definitely can set a policy that kind of caters to the landscape of the map as well. And there's also more casual policies like pet ban, for example, that will affect the gameplay, but just a little bit. And these are the things that the player can choose, that if they want to get into that or not. For the economy, I have to say that sometimes in these games the economy can be really, really kind of difficult to grasp. We try to make it as simple as possible, in the sense that you're basically setting the taxes and then budgeting different city services. And we try to make the interface really user-friendly, and there will be a lot of information for the player available through the whole gameplay experience.
And just to wrap it up, another thing that struck me is the fact that this sort of feels like it's not really sort of quest-based, personality-based. It's more like the on-top view. The sandbox is what's really the story. There is the story that you create. Is that a correct interpretation?
Exactly. The whole game is about the city. It's not so much into individual citizens, but just about making a thriving, beautiful city that looks like you want it to be. So there will be nothing forcing you to go one way or the other. You can choose if you want to go environmentally friendly, if you support industries, if you don't care about the pollution, you can pollute the whole land area if you want, with coal power plants and all these. And the whole idea there is that you're basically the mayor of the city and you make all the decisions. It's really just free-form sandbox game, and hopefully super well balanced and working beautifully.
When released in?
It's gonna be sometime Q1, late Q1 or early Q2. We'll get back to you on that one.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.